tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to create this image right here. Now, you guys probably already know, at least the people who have subscribed to me, you guys probably already know that I have a video showing how I edited this image exactly. But I thought that I should show you guys how to shoot the image. That way you can, create it and, make it your own. So I'm going to show you guys the equipment that I used, my lighting setup, and I'm going to teach you all how exactly I composed the image with my own two hands. Because if you guys didn't know, this is a self-portrait. Both of the hands that are coming into the image are mine. So yeah, if you haven't watched the Photoshop tutorial, be sure to look at it because then you'll begin to understand a little bit more about what we're doing here. So let's not waste any more time and let's get started. So I'll be using my Nikon D3000, my 50mm 1.8 lens, and a shutter release button made for my camera. I'll also be using a continuous octabox that I purchased from Amazon, along with a cheap tripod that I purchased from Walmart. I highly recommend not purchasing it. Before we get started, you want to make sure that you are blocking out any light that is coming into the room. So you can put up a blackout curtain or you can just shut your blinds. And I'm just going to go on and plug in my light. Okay guys, so I actually spot metered my brother's face, which was close to the color of my hand, and the settings I have is a shutter speed of 1/50th of a second, an aperture of 7.1, and an ISO of 400. Okay guys, so this is the setup that I have. My softbox is going to be right in back of my hand, so that's exactly what's giving off the bright light. And my camera is about, I'll say 3 to 4 feet away from my hand. And I have my hand placed about 1/4 foot away from the softbox. So of course I just bring my hand in like this and I cuff it a bit. Something you want to avoid doing is taking your hand all the way across to where it's reaching, the other side of the frame. Because you want to remember when we composite the images together, you're going to need this space to composite the hand that's going to be reaching towards this one. So make sure it just, is right there in the middle of the frame. So of course, after you've placed your hand and composed, click your shutter release button. It'll take the image and then you're going to move on to the other side. So something you can't see entirely is that I'm standing on a chair right now. My softbox is about, I'll say 4 feet high, I guess, and I'm pretty short, so I'm gonna have to sit on the chair to bring my hand straight through the corner. So you're gonna bring your hand in and you want to make sure you're coming straight from the corner of the image. That way later on in Photoshop you won't have to worry about rotating the image to make it come through the corner. And my hand is about the same distance as the other side, very close to it. I do want you guys to know that when it comes to taking the second image, it's better to get a little further away than closer, because if you need to, shrink this image down a bit to match the size of your other hand, that's way better than expanding it, So I have my hand in like this. You don't want to come too far away from the softbox, or you're just gonna have a pure silhouette there. So come a little closer, and then you'll have the nice highlights, the nice shadowing, and of course you use your shutter release button, take the image, and then you're done. Okay guys, so I wanted to give you a few quick tips before I end this video. Like I said, my camera settings, I have them written down right here because I'm not good at remembering numbers. But my ISO was at 400, my shutter speed was at 1/50th of a second, and my aperture was at 7.1. So I really want to encourage you guys to keep your aperture above 5. Of course, your camera settings aren't going to be exactly the same as mine by any means because all lighting situations differ. But I wouldn't let my aperture go below 5 because you have to remember, here's your hand and you're focusing your camera around right here. So if you were to lower your aperture to say 2.8 to let in some more light, all of this is gonna be a blur. And I mean, wouldn't you want your hand in focus? I would, because pens are pretty much the main focus of the image, other than the butterfly. So yeah, try not to move your aperture below 5. When it comes to your shutter speed, if you're not comfortable with going as slow as 1/50th of a second, just up your ISO a tad and then up your shutter speed. But if you have a tripod, your shutter speed should be fine at 1/50th or a little below that. Unless, you know, you have like shaky hands, you don't trust yourself to, you know, be still enough while the picture's being taken. So that's the only time I would up my shutter speed on a tripod. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you guys like this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or comments, please comment down below. And be sure to subscribe to see my future tutorials, because I would love to be a part of y'all's journey that y'all are taking in this photography world. So yeah, thanks guys, bye. On over. And that put the image right on top of the other. So now on my keyboard, I'm going to click Control-T for my transform tool. And I'm going to click this chain link right here so that this image can keep its proportions after I've resized it. So I'm resizing it by dragging it down. It gets smaller, dragging it up,